China's done the unimaginable, showing the world the X2, a flying car that can take off and land vertically, soar through the skies at 80 miles per hour, and run entirely on electric power. It's a major leap from sci-fi to reality, one that could change how we think about getting around forever. But here's the question: are we really ready for flying cars to become part of everyday life? Think of a car that doesn't just drive, but can also take off and soar above the busy streets, completely avoiding traffic jams and giving you a whole new way to experience travel. China's new flying car, the X2, is exactly that. A futuristic, sleek vehicle that's designed not only to look good, but to perform like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Its teardrop shape and fully enclosed cockpit make it look streamlined and futuristic. And it's not just about appearances. The X2's design is all about aerodynamics, allowing it to slice through the air with minimal drag. Made with carbon fiber, this flying car is both strong and lightweight, allowing for a smooth, eco-friendly flight while cutting down on the pollution that regular cars produce. What's truly incredible about the X2 is how effortlessly it combines elements of a helicopter with the comfort and familiarity of a car. This is no ordinary vehicle, it's a two-seater electric marvel that can take off and land vertically, just like a helicopter, which means you won't need a runway to get airborne. As someone who's always loved the idea of flying cars, the fact that the X2 can hover, take off vertically, and then speed away at 80 miles per hour in the air is mind-blowing. Imagine cruising above the traffic for 25 minutes on a single charge, enjoying a bird's-eye view of the city. While that might not sound like a long time, it's perfect for short commutes, quick scenic trips, or even emergency transportation. This little powerhouse proves that we're living in a time where the wildest dreams of sci-fi movies are finally taking shape in the real world. The X2's debut wasn't just any ordinary launch. It was a momentous event that showcased how far China has come in the flying car race. This groundbreaking vehicle took its first flight in Dubai, wowing spectators as it gracefully lifted off in front of a crowd of over 150 prominent attendees, including government officials and business leaders. Imagine the scene at Skydive Dubai with the palm in the background as the futuristic vehicle soared into the sky. The Dubai International Chamber of Commerce backed this project, adding a touch of global prestige to an already impressive achievement. It wasn't just about showing off a cool new gadget, this was a statement that China is ready to lead the world in personal air travel. After its Dubai success, the X2 took another flight at Beijing's massive Daxing International Airport, further proving it was ready for the skies. Behind the X2's development is XPeng Motors, a leading electric vehicle company that has been at the forefront of China's push into electric and autonomous vehicles. Their subsidiary, Aerot, has been working since 2013 to make this vision of a flying car into a reality. Over nearly a decade, they've invested heavily in research, opened multiple innovation centers, and run countless tests to bring the X2 to life. This long journey from concept to public launch shows that XPeng and Aerot aren't just dabbling in futuristic ideas, they're fully committed to pioneering the future of transportation. This means a whole economy based on vehicles that don't just stick to roads but fly right over them, operating below 3,000 meters or about 9,800 feet. This low-altitude economy is a booming sector in China, with everything from flying cars like the X2 to drones that can deliver packages, handle medical emergencies, or even transport fresh seafood. It's almost like creating a second layer of transportation, specifically designed for cities and short-distance commutes, hovering just above the usual hustle and bustle. The vision is to use this low-altitude space to make our cities more efficient, less congested, and greener, all while staying under the 3,000-meter mark to keep out of commercial airline routes. Now, you might be wondering, why invest so much in this? Well, China's government has big plans. By 2026, this sector alone is expected to be worth over $138 billion, and they're going all in. They're setting up policies, building the infrastructure, and even easing up on some of the airspace restrictions to encourage more companies to innovate in this area. It's like they're saying, we're serious about this future of flying cars and drones. Let's make it happen. This push includes everything from government-backed research facilities to massive investments in technology that can support low-altitude vehicles like autonomous flight systems and eco-friendly power sources. The end goal? Making flying cars a normal part of city life. Imagine ordering an air taxi to skip rush hour traffic or seeing a drone zoom by to deliver a medical kit to someone in need, all while staying within the city's airspace right above us. It sounds like something out of a movie, but with the level of commitment China's putting into the low-altitude economy, it could soon become as ordinary as hailing a cab. If it all goes to plan, flying cars like the X2 might just be the beginning of a whole new transportation revolution that reshapes not only how we move, but also how our cities operate. Traffic congestion is a nightmare in most big cities, with hours wasted sitting in lines of cars, wasting fuel and fraying nerves. The X2 could provide a real solution by making air taxis an everyday reality, allowing people to hop over the traffic below and arrive refreshed. Compared to helicopters, which are costly, noisy, and not exactly fuel efficient, the X2 is designed to be the complete opposite. It's electric, producing zero emissions, so it's easy on the environment. Plus, it's quieter and a whole lot more energy efficient, with operational costs that are a fraction of traditional choppers. This affordability could make flying taxis accessible to more people, not just those who can afford private helicopter flights. Imagine a world where hailing an air taxi is as common as calling an Uber. X2 and similar models are the first step towards making that vision real. The huge environmental impact is another huge selling point. The X2 operates on electric power, which means no fossil fuels and therefore no direct carbon emissions. For anyone worried about climate change, this is a big deal. Cities are usually high in pollution because of dense traffic, but with more flying cars like the X2, we could start cutting down on that. Imagine a future where commutes are clean, quiet, and fast, flying over the city, breathing cleaner air, and knowing that your mode of transport isn't adding to the pollution. Additionally, because the X2 is quieter than a typical helicopter, it's more suited for urban environments where noise is already a problem. If flying cars like this one become more common, it could even shift how we build cities and neighborhoods, as we might no longer need wide streets or massive highways. Of course, it's not all smooth flying ahead. There are still significant challenges, and one of the biggest hurdles is battery technology. The X2 currently has a flight time of around 25 minutes, which, while impressive, limits it to short commutes. For flying cars to become more practical on a larger scale, we'll need better batteries with higher density energy, so these vehicles can cover longer distances on a single charge. Think about your phone battery. It's always a bit frustrating when it doesn't last long enough. Now, imagine that same issue, but in the air. Battery technology has improved over the years, but it's one of those areas that's holding back the full potential of electric flying vehicles. Safety is another concern that can't be ignored. Flying cars sound fantastic, but they're also a new kind of vehicle, which means they bring you risks. The last thing anyone wants is an accident happening hundreds of feet in the air. China, however, seems to be taking a smart, cautious approach to this by rolling out flying cars in stages. They're focusing on low-risk operations first, allowing these vehicles to build a strong safety record before moving into riskier urban environments with more air traffic. This step-by-step approach, which they call safety first, is key to earning public trust. By prioritizing cargo flights and less populated areas initially, they're making sure that safety standards are ironclad before jumping into widespread passenger transport. This phased rollout will help regulators understand and manage the risks associated with personal air travel, which is essential if we're going to see flying cars become a regular part of life. Another logistical hurdle is the infrastructure required to make this new mode of transportation work very smoothly. Just like cars need roads and parking lots, flying cars will need designated air routes and skyports where they can take off, land, and recharge. Cities are busy places, and throwing flying cars into the mix without careful planning could create chaos. Some experts suggest that we might eventually see dedicated air routes for low-altitude vehicles like the X2, essentially creating an invisible network of sky lanes. However, setting up this infrastructure isn't cheap or easy. It involves major urban planning, investment in new technology, and careful coordination with existing air traffic systems. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.